So now, Tad, if you want to talk about shitty fucking film scores, let's go.
Oh my God.
Wait, sorry. Before
Are we going to start there?
Who besides Scott watched The Departed or has seen it recently?
I've seen it, but not recently.
Interesting.
I want a few minutes at the end for that because I watched that before I watched this.
Oh.
Not since it came out, because it wasn't as good. It wasn't as good.
Hey, all right, the guys.
And this
Jared
is no
brings
exception,
game.
Jared. This one's no exception.
Yeah,
Well, go ahead.
Hey,
I mean,
Samantha.
the score is
show
bad,
me
but
show me a Hong Kong non-action movie.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty static in a
It's
lot of
very static.
Like
Yeah.
one shootout.
Oh, they're on the roof again. Okay.
and it kind of look a lot like
lots of roof. Lots of roof.
Lots of roofs
Mhm.
in Asia.
It is that
I thought
Michael...
the connection this week is giant Asian cities. Is that what
yeah, something like that.
Shanghai and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You know what I do like though about these gangsters compared to like American films? They're so happy and funny and fun. And
I know they're running a bit.
What does it start with? It
family.
starts with them all drinking tea
Yes.
out of that tray. He's got that tray and he's passing the tray around, and they're all just like, "Okay,
Like,
we're all with
and
you."
That's true. There was no gritted teeth in this. There
Yeah,
was
Also,
no,
there's
American crime movies. Everybody's so fucking, and you know, a lot of other cultures, but especially Asian, they're laughing, they're fucking playing games, they're eating food, they're like, fucking,
One of my favorite
And-
scenes in this film is
and when you
actually him.
fuck up, they chop his
They
finger
have
off.
him in custody.
yeah, they're still badass though.
Yeah, they have him in custody. And he has like 17 different pieces of food out in front of him.
Okay, explain that fucking scene to
It's
me.
just him with the
What is he
highlight.
great.
doing there, just
He is
chowing
showing
down
you-
in the police
Yeah,
he said,
that's a
"Fuck
fucking
you."
flex,
sent
dude.
out
It's a
for
flex. Thank
takeout.
you.
It's
the
scene-
ultimate
it's
flex. He's like-
it's the scene in Goodfellas where they're making the fucking pasta sauce.
Oh my!
Why
pretty
did
much.
why did they even bring him in? Logically, why is he even sitting there in the police station?
Because
They
he's
know
their
he's a
white
good
whale,
guy. They can
dude,
bring
and they're
him in.
trying to get
They
him.
know what he's up to. They just didn't have anything on him. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's a cop movie.
I mean, they
so-
brought Gotti.
yeah.
They brought Gotti in like 15 times, and
Okay.
eventually got him later.
Mhm.
Did he
And
ever
put,
order
and
take?
put
Did
Rudy
he ever order
Giuliani out
takeout
front
though?
because they wanted him to get assassinated.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But yeah, a lot of
Shoe
stuff happens
polish
in
is
this thing.
dangerous.
A lot of stuff happens. in
And
this thing.
it's a lot
Go
of
get
it's
your
talking.
shine box, Jim.
Yeah.
full
Come get your
disclosure.
shine box.
Full disclosure. Sheila had to explain every fucking thing to me.
Mhm.
I did not understand.
It is
this
kind of
movie at
dense, isn't
all.
it? In
It's
terms of
so
like what's
dense.
going
Well,
on.
it's all telegraphed and it's all based on a different culture.
And also, it's like the photography
They
is
have
kind of
different
washed out.
cliches.
I love the
and
way the
also
film looks. It's
It's
beautiful,
visual.
but,
It's the gray.
but
It's
everything's
gray.
the same.
visually-
Everything's the same. That's the
It's
problem.
It's gray. It's gray,
It's gray and
but
blue.
it's
That's all it
still
is.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
This movie though,
agree.
Yeah.
the visual
Yeah.
storytelling in this movie though are very, for lack of a better word, is very cheesy. There's a lot of like really bad like slow motion, and he turns his head again, you know, like,
And then we're gonna do that
yeah,
static
and then like
staccato, like we're gonna scan across the frame.
and they do something that I always hate, which is they slowed mo in post production. Like they didn't shoot it in slow mo, but
Oh,
they
we
like
get
do
that.
it in post, so it's all
Yeah.
choppy and shit.
Yeah.
Well, this
And
movie,
then there's
this movie
so
cost
many freeze frames.
$14.
It's a style.
Yeah.
It's a style.
No, I
This guy
appreciate
watched
it.
a
dated
bunch of
style.
Michael Mann movies and went, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that. The photography is great. It was actually
Which I
done
love
in-
them for it.
Oh, it's done in honest to God anamorphic.
There's some cool-
widescreen,
the
which is
driving
unusual
sequences
for
look
a
rad.
Hong Kong film.
They got the guy that does all the Wong Kar Wai movies.
Yeah,
to be
it
visual
looked
consultant.
just beautiful, but it
Christopher
also
Doyle.
it was
Yeah.
so posted out
He's the
that
man.
you just can't
Yeah.
tell what's going on. The whole
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Also, you got this is like for Tad. It's like this was 2002.
Yep.
And this was just a few years after Hong Kong was handed over to the Chinese.
Yeah.
And it's like it's part of me is like a little angry at the end of the film because they can't
So-
they can't make a film like this anymore. It's impossible.
So the whole thing is this movie is about identity and what's your identity and what are you doing and all of this other stuff. And the fucking city is going through a what is your identity? Who
Right.
are you?
It's basically
Are
a
you a
giant
good
identity
guy?
crisis.
Are you a
Yeah.
bad guy?
Yeah.
Well, and then you go and you watch like the Chow Yun Fat movies, like Killer or
Hard Boiled.
Hard
The
Boiled.
John Woo movies, yeah.
Yeah, and they very much have that same feeling of like, who are you and what are you now?
Yep.
Like it
And they're
is-
also extremely fucking dense.
and is part and parcel of that understanding of like this culture is drifting in one way or another.
It's in flux.
and how are you going to be part of that? Like,
Right.
what side are you on?
Where do you stand?
And that's what I don't like about The Departed is Boston's been Boston since Boston. Like this movie, like it really works in terms of the characters being like, I'm not sure who I am, and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be in this society, which is also shifting under my feet. Like,
Boston is barely a character.
Actually, I would have to ask you to point out
it could
one
be
place
Manhattan. It doesn't
point out
matter.
somewhere where this is evident in the film, because I think it's an undercurrent. It's never spoken.
It is no, it is an undercurrent, and and this movie was not designed to be put out in America. It was designed to be put out in the
Hong Kong and
East.
mainland China.
Right. And everyone would know that. That would just be a thing that you understood about it. So when these characters are wrong-footed by what's going on in their society, you're just supposed to know that.
Yeah.
Because this is before international film distribution. Like it is very much a movie that is set in Hong Kong, based in Hong Kong, and designed for Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's a ghostly presence in this film of the Chinese. The CCP is out there with their thumb, but they haven't put it down yet. I think
they do. So they do actually, because the ending of this movie is different. If you watch this in Malaysia or China, they just catch him when he comes out of the elevator.
Okay,
and they're just like,
"Oh, interesting.
You're under arrest now." Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, because China had a fucking
code.
Had a code, and it was like, you can't get away with doing this.
Bad guys.
Which is the difference
in the Departed as well. It's a
spoiler alert,
that's the
but
better ending.
The
you know it. That's the better.
The elevator doors just continuing to go like this was amazing. Just
it was really good.
That was kind of neat. Yeah,
it's hitting his leg. You can't close.
shut it.
Right.
These two main actors are great though, and I just want to recognize how much of a fucking badass Tony Leung is. I just fucking love that guy, dude.
The
I
camera
still think
loves
he's
him.
better in Chungking Express.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
I like him in the Wong Kar-wai
liked him
movies
in
better.
Hero.
The Wong Kar-wai movies.
Which
We
is
liked him in Hero.
which is Chungking Express. Yeah, he's great in here, but he's great in everything. He's just got
Everyone
this, like,
hated Hero except you and me, Chris.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
I like Hero.
I
wasn't
saw
here.
It was a nice little.
You hated that movie, dude.
I know I hated that film.
Yeah, you really
but it
hated
had
that
groovy
movie.
colors, man. It was
had
so
pretty colors.
You fucking loathe that movie.
I
several-
hated it
has
so
several
much I
different
forgot about
groovy
it.
colors.
Are you sure it was me that saw it?
We're not
Maybe
even sure
another
you
person
exist.
on yelling about
Right.
movies.
How do we know
My-
you exist?
My
Yeah,
hot
that's
take
true.
Is it even a
I'm
movie?
sorry, John.
if you mash together this one and The Departed, I think you get the perfect expression of this story.
You know,
The Departed is an hour longer, but it does so much more hand holding than
Oh,
this
God.
movie does.
you know, if you
Probably too much.
And I
But
hate.
I actually think
are
that-
we going to the part where we can talk about these two films? Finish what you're saying. I want to go next.
Yes, we're
would like
all spoilers from here out.
fuck whatever. People see this movie by now. So I watched The Departed going, yeah, I don't know why they gave Scorsese. I mean, this is just making up for the fact they didn't give it to him for Goodfellas or whatever. Like, this was certainly not the best picture of 2006.
And
But
it could have been directed by any fucking
after I
competent
watched
Hollywood
this,
director.
which I had never seen before 2 nights
Can you
ago.
imagine if it was like David O. Russell or somebody like that, though? Like,
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Sure. But I'm watching this going, well, this isn't better. It's just different. It's faster. It's definitely more obtuse. I prefer The Departed. I prefer Marky Mark shooting what's his name in the face at the end of The Departed.
Yes.
But I hate here comes the rat again with that fucking, we're gonna play the Rolling Stones song. Like there's things that Scorsese does, which
I hate DiCaprio and Nicholson like chewing up this scenery.
Is
like
not as good as the guy in this movie.
No.
Okay.
And
well,
DiCaprio is so cliche. Every choice is bad.
DiCaprio Damon is
Damon
at
is
least
awesome.
as good as these two.
Damon is awesome. Damon is the best performance in that movie.
One of the best things I've ever
Baldwin.
seen.
But I've been sick of Scorsese's music cues since Wolf of Wall Street.
Before that, even
This was before Wolf of Wall Street. Thank you.
Yeah, get a new record, Scorsese.
Chris has done
a new record. Buy a record from this century.
It's my turn for comparison of the two films. I think that The Departed is, you ever heard about Daniel's remake formula? It's Dan Krause, one of our former guests on this show. If a film has some flaws, you should try and remake it to fix those flaws.
Yeah,
and I think that he saw Internal Affairs and saw there were some problems. It was static. It was too monochrome. and some of the characters were underexplored. I think that Scorsese took his time 2.5 hours to really open up this story.
It's like a full hour longer.
This is almost like a proof of concept or an animatic of The Departed in terms of like opening up the ideas. And the thing is, you get more into character. You see Jack Nicholson chewing all the scenery in the world as the crime boss.
I prefer the guy in this movie.
Actually,
me too.
It's a watch.
Yeah, I do like that guy.
Because he's laughing and joking and he's fun.
Yeah.
But I love the
Nicholson
dynamic.
is Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah, but the Wahlberg dynamic with both the main
But he's
characters
like a
is funny
dumpling.
as fuck. And
Wahlberg
I think there's
is-
a lot of great.
Wahlberg is
color in-
missing from this
Now,
movie.
I admit that maybe this
Oh,
part of this is
Christ.
me not being able to jump into a Hong Kong cultural appreciation of the of Infernal Affairs as much as easily as I could do with Departed, but I still see the difference in quality.
I
still
love
see
The
the difference
Killer.
in
I
storyline,
love
right?
Hard Boiled. I
Uh-huh.
thought I like this movie. I just
Yeah.
like you said, if you could somehow take the best bits of this and The Departed, I think you get the best expression of this story.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think The
neither
Departed
one's
need to be
100%.
2 hours and 40
Yeah. Oh no,
fucking
he's still no. Scorsese still fucked up a lot of stuff in the
So
Departed.
Scott,
Mhm.
Scott, I haven't seen The Departed,
Uh-huh.
but all the while I was watching this, it was like, man, this is a really solid story.
Yes.
Somebody
The-
should remake
It's a
this.
very
cat
clever
and
story.
mouse-
Think
the
about it.
cat
It's
and
a
mouse
very
angle.
clever
Let me tell
story.
you about watching The Departed.
The cat and mouse angle between these two is so much better played between DiCaprio
I'll
and
bet.
Damon in the remake.
Because I feel like the whole cell phone, like, oh, now I have his cell phone. You know,
Yeah.
One thing I like about that
it
this
almost seems like a fumble to
in
me.
both films, I think this is one of the first films that had to. I remember the whole problem with the New Mexico problem with having in movies where cell phones would ruin any tension you had.
Yeah.
Sure.
This film and The Departed played with cell phones with a way that this is actually to make your film better.
Yes.
It's
Having
like
a cell
it's
phone
like the X-Files. The
Yeah.
X-Files did such a good
Same
job.
thing too. But this was I thought the use of cell phones in this film was brilliant. It was just it added tension to it. It was crazed.
But
It was,
you've got in The Departed, you've got, I think, Damon making really, really beautiful choices.
Yeah.
And you've got DiCaprio, who is an awesome
I
actor.
thought he was good in this.
I think he's making the most obvious, simplistic, like boring ass choices
you
that you
don't
could
like
do with that
DiCaprio.
character like that. No,
Yeah.
I love him. I just don't know why he screwed the pooch on that particular film. But
yeah,
anyway,
that's a
Well, the
a-
answer would obviously be, if that's your problem, Scorsese.
Martin
Sure.
Sheen's good.
this
Fucking
is turning into a
Alec
review.
Baldwin is
Alec
good. Baldwin
is good.
steals every scene he's in.
yeah, he does.
I download it so
the
we can actually do
Henchmen?
both, so we're good.
The henchmen are really good in the.
They're
in the remake.
terrifying.
It's
They're
too
Ray
terrifying.
Winston is always good, by the way.
Like they overshot okay, we got to take this really tightly packed, great story and simplify it for American audiences. You did not need another hour to do that. That's my
No.
like just like it drags like crazy.
But
No,
none of
that's
them are Tony
Scorsese
Long.
freestyling all over.
None
the
of them are
place.
Tony Long.
No,
There's,
Tony Long's
there's lots of
really-
wasted scenes in The Departed.
And again, I think
which
the
goes back
ending,
to
the
Infernal
ending
Affairs.
of the
Infernal
remake
Affairs
is so
tight.
much better.
Well, evidently
Yeah.
the first cut of this movie was 3 hours long.
Yes, it was. That was very
Oh,
long. indeed.
wow.
I think there's
And
I think the
they
first cut of
brought in
most movies
somebody.
is 3
Did they
hours, and
bring in
now
to
some of them are
edit
just
it?
leaving it.
apparently, the first cut of Her was 3.5 hours, and
Yeah.
Spike.
Oh no,
Spike
I'm
took
getting
it.
it.
He got
confused. It was
Soderbergh to
her.
come in and cut it.
Soderbergh did a 90 minutes like
Soderbergh.
overnight.
That's what he does.
right.
That's what
and then-
Soderbergh does.
And then he cut
Except
it
when Soderbergh
back-
does
he cut
Solaris
it back to
remake.
2 hours and 6 minutes. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
Did you see Soderbergh's 2001? It's 97 minutes long. It's perfect.
great,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I seen his Un Chien d'Andalou, which is only like 5 seconds long.
It's just the eyeball
It's just an
scene. and
eyeball
then
getting
the end.
Hey man,
I want. Can we give him Bambi
I
meets
fit
Godzilla?
all of
Yeah,
Sonic
yeah.
Youth. I fit all of Sonic Youth's double album Daydream Nation onto one side of a C45. It's everything you need. Right there.
Wow, there it is. All right. Do you have a corner, Jim, or not? Or maybe
I enjoyed it. I sort of like the fact that movies are nothing if not about sort of. It's not quite style. It's just there's a bunch of stuff that can be telegraphed in genre movies, so police procedurals, but it's so different in China from us that
China.
a lot of their stuff is
China.
yeah, it's Chinatown, Jake.
Pick
I
that.
did love the colonial influence the British had on the policeman's language, where they
And
were calling
uniforms and
each other
everything.
sir
Mhm.
and saying
Oh, yeah.
bye bye,
And the bagpipes.
Yeah, there was a lot of little
and the
English like
bagpipes at the end.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
every time English interjects into this movie, they're like investigation, and it's just like,
Right.
oh,
Or
shit.
signal.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to bring up the cadets in big shorts and no shirts?
That was
Wait,
quite a
besides the
thing.
fact they were hot,
The schoolboy shorts?
Well, that was it's a warm country, damn it.
It
What?
is. I've been
Okay.
to
Honestly,
Hong Kong. It's hot.
Yeah,
As much as
it
as much as I detest Scorsese overuse of popular music, the fucking music cues in this movie.
Oh my God.
Oh God, why do you guys
Okay,
keep doing
all right.
that?
Then now we have to talk about that really horrible flashback sequence when right after the police chief lands on the roof of the car dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
then we
was
get that.
fun.
Jesus, that was
that
good.
would have been my
I,
background if I had backgrounds here.
I jumped, Scott, when that body hit the roof of the
That's
car.
beautifully
Really,
done,
it was a
beautifully
great
done.
jump scare. But
Mhm.
then we
Yeah.
got that long scene of him staring at him while we got to watch every clip that they were in
Oh
together.
my
with the
God.
previous
I know.
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
Why are
hour
you
of the
paying
movie.
That's what I
film?
mean.
It's
There's
only
so
an
many
hour and
like
a half
there's so much cheese like
Chris, you
filtered
can't
in
tell
like
what your own
peppered
movie.
into this movie.
So much cheese.
And it looks cool, but then they'll do something like that, or they'll drop a music cue, and it's just like, what?
Just,
Yeah, they're-
I got
because
there's
because
this
you can feel
giant
them
thing
being
of
like the funny thing
maple
about this movie.
syrup. I got
Well, it's like the funny thing about this movie is you can feel them being like, let's be like America, and you're like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work all the time, guys.
Right.
It doesn't even work here. We're just used to
Perfectly
it.
normal
It's like, but you're making it worse by trying to be American in certain ways in this picture. Like,
Oh yeah. It's weird. It's like there's a cultural gap. Although this film, as I was done with it, I may be kind of hungry.
Did it?
yeah,
I think that dog's kind of hungry.
I know, pretty much.
Dog wants to eat Pat's face.
You did your corner, Jim?
Yeah, let's go.
We could probably call it at this point.
I mean,
I like this.
I'm like three
I
liked
quarters. I'm like 75%.
Between this, the Departed's up here, and this is like down here.
But like
I like this better than The
Two
Departed.
of them together, you get
Yeah.
a really good movie.
Never saw The Departed, so
Uh-huh.
I give
So there
up
it
on
The
is.
Departed would
Scorsese.
be more like
Right.
this for me. This is more like this.
Okay, good. All right.